What's up, everybody? Thanks for tuning in today. It's funny because for those of you that have watched my channel for at least a little while now, going back maybe 4 or 5 months or so, you know how hyped I was about Shane Wright and, and how I really thought the Canadians were absolutely going to take him. Now, I'm on the opposite side of the argument because I'm becoming a big fan of Juraj Slafkovsky. And last night was the first time I was able to actually watch him live during game action, not just some highlights from the Olympics, which I confess I didn't really watch him in the Olympics. And that's where everybody really started to get hyped about him. But first impressions of Slav. So it was pretty cool to see him, first of all, just the whole experience of just hockey feeling like it was back already with this little scrimmage with the Buffalo Sabres was pretty cool. The Habs obviously losing 4-3 in this little rookie scrimmage here. But first impressions of Slav, I mean, of course, setting up the shorthanded goal with his buddy Filip Mesar. I mean, just a really neat way for him to get on the board early in the game. I'll talk about Emil, Heineman, Owen, Beck, some other players in a moment as well. But just zeroing in on Slav for a moment here, I was impressed with, of course, the fact that he's so big, but when you actually see him on the ice against all the other players, he really does stand out, and it's very clear that he's the biggest guy on the ice, and it really stands out. He was actually listed at 6'3", and he did put on 10 pounds before arriving at rookie camp here, so he's around 238 now, which pretty crazy to think. I mean, this kid's still 18 years old. He doesn't turn 19 until next March, so just amazing how big he is so early and so young. But in terms of his play in this game specifically, he wasn't happy with it, actually, as you guys may have known and may have heard from his quotes after the game. He was the only one that wasn't impressed with himself throughout. The media were all impressed. I think the fans were impressed just from an overall perspective. And again, this is my first time seeing him play, and this is him in his little post-game presser after the game, where again he mentioned that he wasn't happy. Too many turnovers, he said, and just kind of a little bit sloppy. I just want to go into a direct quote. And he said, it's the first game and I have to get ready for another game tomorrow, which of course means tonight. He felt like maybe he was trying a bit too hard, made some mistakes, too many turnovers. So that was kind of his main feedback to the media after the game. But that's totally fine because, I mean, this is the first time for me personally that I had watched him play. But that's like the perfect time to make your mistakes is in the first game, especially in a rookie tournament, or not even a tournament. It's a scrimmage, for goodness sake. So I mean, for him to be humble about it though, and not get too high on his play and realize that there's lots of room for improvement, that's perfect. It's the perfect mindset that you want him to have this early in training camp, because this isn't even the main training camp yet with the Canadiens, where he will be at as well. But this is a good sign for at least where he's at mentally, and certainly a lot of room for improvement, because as you guys saw, he cut across the ice during one or two plays there, and he got lined up for a hit by one of Buffalo's players. But as you can see, kind of a juggernaut there. Just Slafkovsky didn't even get knocked over. He kind of, just bounced right off of Slav. So that was kind of fun to see. That clip was trending around Twitter, I think I saw as well. But again, first impressions, and you know what, this was a key thing that I really noticed about his game last night against Buffalo in this little scrimmage here, was he's a good puck distributor. I mean, I don't think we really saw enough of his shot much at all last night. We saw some shots from him, but we didn't see that many. But what we did see were some really nice plays. Of course, he wins the puck battle in the shorthanded assist to Mesar. But there was a nice one-touch pass I saw him make that ended up being a rush chance. The first shift of the game, he had a chance with Filip Mesar, Slafkovsky did. So he was creating right away off his first shift. But mostly what I noticed was that he was distributing. He was passing the puck really well. So that to me was a really nice thing to see early on from him. Again, this being the first time I've seen him watch him live in game action. But there was a handful of other sequences where he was just passing the puck really well. They were on the Canadiens were on a power play, and you saw him behind the net kind of do that little spin around a pass out front, which didn't amount to anything. But he's got slick mitts and he has good hands. So I like the fact that he's looking to be a pass first guy, at least in last night's game anyway. But once he gets his shot going, he's got a really good shot as well, and his skating was good. I thought he looked pretty good out there. Again, this being his first game. He was moving really well. So for his size especially, he's able to move really well. So I was really impressed by that. But the main thing I noticed about his game last night above all else was that he was a good puck distributor. Really liked what he was doing. in terms of passing the puck and trying to create plays and just getting the puck up ice. So the goal scorers from last night, Filip Mesar, Emil Heineman, who had a nice snipe, that first opening goal for the Canadiens. I was really looking forward to seeing if Heineman was going to impress. He did. Really nice chemistry with Owen Beck as well. So Mesar, Heineman, and Owen Beck were your goal scorers in that game last night. And goal and an assist for Emil Heineman. He was someone I was probably the most curious about, not having seen any of him play, but he had a bit of an advantage because Emil Heineman actually played 8 games in Sweden before arriving at rookie camp. So he had a bit of an advantage in that regard, but that's totally fine with us. I mean, I think as Habs fans, you just want to see these guys come in and succeed right away, if possible, or succeed as they go along in the camp. And these guys definitely impressed. I mean, our first overall selections, Mesar and Slafkovsky impressed. Heineman coming over in the Tyler Toffoli deal, and Owen Beck being our second rounder from 33rd overall. The Canadiens took the first pick of the second round this year. And again, I'm going to go see Owen Beck play and hopefully interview him when the Mississauga Steelheads play the Ice Dogs in, what is it, just over, not even, actually, I think it's less than 2 weeks now. So it's 13 days away. So that's my plan, is to go and interview Owen Beck, and he had a nice goal, of course, on that breakaway pass from Heineman, which was beautiful. But also some other players that stood out too: Arbor Jackeye, Jordan Harris, Justin Barron. These guys had good games. I thought I was really looking for something from Jackeye, and he stood guys up and made some hits, but he also made some decent plays. He was pretty defensively responsible, I thought, as well. So not that you were looking for a ton. What am I trying to say? You see a physical, you expect a physical game from Arbor Jackeye. That's kind of what you expect. But some people call him a meathead, and he doesn't really want to keep that label. He wants his game to be a lot more than that. So not just a guy who's going to lay the body, but also can make plays and be defensively responsible, and find himself an NHL job very soon, hopefully with the Canadiens. But I think he'll play in the Val. But I really like Jordan Harris. Jordan Harris just looks like a natural out there, just a free-flowing skater, making good first passes. So I'm hoping that Harris can be a decent first pass player as a defenseman. Justin Barron looked pretty comfortable out there, wasn't trying to do too much. Offensively involved out there on the power play. So some nice stuff from these guys. But let me know what you guys think. What was your first impression of Juraj Slafkovsky, of Owen Beck, Emil Heineman, Filip Mesar, any of these guys? But I definitely was impressed, and it was fun to watch. So can't wait to see more and more. This is such an early reaction video to seeing Slav play, but I can't wait to see more. That's what I'm coming away with from watching them. So thanks again, guys. We'll talk to you soon. Cheers.